When it comes to trading, the devil is in the details. Hi, my name is Reese Shapiro, and I'm your binary options trading coach. I spent over 10 years managing an options portfolio for a major Wall Street bank. The options that we traded on Wall Street are very complex. I had thousands of underlying assets to choose from, and for each asset, there were many decisions to make, such as the expiration, strike price, direction, and quantity. We had complicated systems for order entry and training courses that could be days long on how to use those systems. Option expirations could range from a few days to many years, so I had literally thousands of open positions at any time. And that made position monitoring extremely challenging, even with the 5 computer monitors that I had at my workstation. Binary options, on the other hand, are very simple to trade. You'll have dozens, not thousands, of assets to choose from. And when you need to trade, there are only a few decisions you need to make. Usually, there are only a handful of expirations available at any time. The option strike price is typically set for you, so the only thing you'll need to choose is the direction and the amount of your investment. So setting up your binary options trades can be done with just a few clicks on your broker's site. And trade monitoring is simple too. Since most options expire relatively quickly, you'll only have at most a few positions on at a time. So monitoring your trades can be done on one screen or even on a laptop with a simple glance. Setting up and trading binary options is relatively easy, no matter which broker you choose to work with. In this video, we're going to go on a tour of my broker, OptiMarkets.com. By the end of this video, you should feel very comfortable with how to place a trade using OptiMarkets, and you should be ready to start exploring your broker on your own. If you choose to work with a different broker other than OptiMarkets, please make sure you pick one that's reliable, secure, and has outstanding customer support. Now, in our first video, Introduction to Binary Options, we talked a lot about choosing a broker. You may want to revisit that section as you think about which broker you want to pick for your trading. You also want to make sure when you choose your broker that you can withdraw your profits when it's the right time, that there aren't any restrictions on when you can withdraw your money. Of course, withdrawals should be made keeping in mind the capital allocation setup that we talked about in our risk management video. Now, if you need a recommendation for another broker, you can feel free to ask me. Before I chose OptiMarkets, I did a comprehensive research on the market, and I have some other brokers that I work with as well. So I'd be happy to share my notes and insights with you as you work to find the right broker for you. This is the third lesson in our series. If you missed either of our first 2 videos, please go back and watch them. Those videos are Introduction to Binary Options and Risk Management. Even if you think you already know the material, I bet there'll be something in there that you'll learn that you didn't already know. And if this is your first time watching this video, I usually suggest that my students watch each video at least twice. The first time through, you might miss something that you'll catch on the second or even the third time that you watch the video. So watch it, take some time to absorb the material, go over your notes, and then watch it again. And talking about your notes, you want to make sure you have a pen and paper handy so that you can write down some of the key concepts that we talk about in this session. I always find that it helps me learn new concepts more quickly and more thoroughly if I write down some of the key concepts. You'll be getting a lot of information today, and a lot of it will be new. So please write down the key concepts and any questions that you may have so that we can answer them for you. Also, you want to take time to build a knowledge base about trading binary options. To do this, you need to be patient with yourself and with the learning process. Everyone learns at their own pace, and the best thing you can do for yourself is to take the time to learn to trade well. You don't want to rush ahead without all the skills and knowledge that you'll need to succeed. So let's get right to the exciting part, the trading site. This is the page that you'll go to when you log in to one of the brokers that I use, Option Rally. On most brokers, at the top somewhere, you'll see your name and your current account balance. If you haven't deposited any money yet, you'll need to deposit funds. And usually the brokers make this pretty easy for you. You just click on a deposit button somewhere on the main trading page. Now, to get to the trading room, where you'll actually enter your trades, you usually click on a Trade tab. And here now, I'm in the trading room. And for most brokers, the trading room starts you off trading basic or traditional, sometimes called digital binary options. Most brokers offer you a few additional types of binary options for advanced trading. And we'll talk a little bit more extensively about this later in the course. But in addition to traditional digital binary options, some brokers offer you the ability to customize binary options by building your own. Some will offer you a one-touch binary option, which triggers if the asset touches a particular strike price at all during the term of the option. Most brokers will offer you some sort of a very quick, rapid-fire, sometimes called turbo or 60-second option. And these are just like traditional binary options, except that they expire very quickly, usually within 1 to 5 minutes of trading. Over here, Option Rally offers you a binary meta, which is basically a way to enter trades more quickly and more easily, but it's really for advanced traders. We're going to start out using the traditional binary option trade entry screen. Once you get a good amount of practice, you may want to experiment with some of the other views or order entry screens that your broker offers you. So now, below these tabs is an asset class selector. And the choices here are hot assets, commodities, currencies, indices, stocks, and pairs. And most brokers will allow you to narrow down your asset class by clicking on tabs like this. This just makes it easier if you prefer to trade, for example, indices or currencies, rather than looking at all of the different varied assets. Your trade entry screen will be narrowed down to your preference of asset class. So for example, if you like to trade indices, just click on indices. And now all of the choices on the trade entry screen will be different indices. The first asset here is the NASDAQ. And if you click on this arrow, up will come a list of some of the other choices of indices that you can use as your underlying asset. And typically that'll be just the assets which are open for trading right now. So right now it's about 10:30 in the morning New York time. And the assets that are open as far as indices are the European indices, the US indices, the Latin American indices, and an Israeli index. So one of the indices that I trade probably the most is the S&P 500. It's one of the most liquid equity indices in the world. So let's click on S&P 500, and now the chart fills in a chart of the S&P 500. Now, one of the other variables that you'll need to pick is the expiration. And over here, this option expires at 11 o'clock today. If I click on this arrow, I can see my choices for expiration are 11 o'clock, 16 o'clock, which is 4 p.m. today, or tomorrow at 1:10 in the afternoon, or 13:10. Depending on your trading strategy, you might want to pick a short-term option or a more long-term option, even go into tomorrow. But for now, let's just say we want to look at the 11 o'clock in the morning option. Below that, you'll see the potential payout for this option at 77%. Now what that means is that if I'm right in predicting the direction of the asset, I'll get a payout of 77% of my investment. So in other words, if I put up a $100 investment, I'll get $177 for a correct prediction. Now, choosing which direction your asset will move is one of the critical elements of binary options trading. Different traders have different ways of selecting this. One of the things that is a nice feature that brokers offer you is this Trader's Choice icon over here. And what this is basically showing you is what other traders are predicting for the movement of the S&P over the next half an hour. In this case, about 49% of the traders are bullish on the asset, choosing call, and about 51% are bearish, choosing put. Now that's a pretty even split. Sometimes you can see this go to 2/3, 1/3, something more indicative of a strong preference. But in this case, it looks like it's a pretty even split. But that's something that you might want to look at if you're struggling to choose the direction. Now let's go back over. Let's assume that we've decided based on our trading strategy that this asset is going higher. We're going to click on the green up arrow, which will allow us to pick call. And up will come the input screen for call. It has the current level of the asset, the expiration date and time, in this case today at 11 o'clock, and a box to put in our investment amount. Now some brokers have a drop-down menu and you'll choose different investment amounts. Other brokers will allow you to just type in any investment amount you want. In this case, I'm going to invest $100 in this option. And you can see right away that it fills in my payout amount. If the S&P is above 1758 at expiration, I'll get my $177. And if the S&P is below the strike price at expiration, I'll get 0. Now I'll go ahead and click apply or confirm or enter or whatever your broker chooses for the wording. And now I have that investment. To see it, I'll scroll down to today's open positions. You can see here in today's open positions, I currently have 2 open positions. The most recent one goes at the bottom, in this case the one I just traded. I have position ID, the asset, which is the S&P 500, the rate, which is the strike price, 1758.20. In this case, it's a call option with a green arrow indicating that I want that asset to be above that rate at expiration. It has the expiration time, the investment amount, and the payout. Now in this case, my payout says $177. And that means that my asset is currently above the strike price. And therefore, if the option were to expire right now, I would get my full payout. But I won't know until 11 o'clock, about a half an hour from now, whether I get or don't get my full payout. Now, most brokers will have some sort of a chart where you can click on that chart and it'll bring up a chart of your asset compared to the strike price with the trade execution time and the expiration time so that you can see how your asset is doing relative to that strike price. And click that closed. Now, some brokers will offer you additional tools, such as the ability to change or extend your option during the life. For example, here, if these were highlighted, I would be able to extend the expiration of my option. And here, the ×2 indicates that I can double up on that option. If I want to double up, I would just click apply, and I would have 2 times the investment amount, or $200 invested in that trade. But I'm going to click cancel. So that's how you set up and enter orders in Option Rally. Let's go look at a different broker quickly to try to see some of the similarities and differences. So one of the other brokers that I use is called Go Options. And you can see that just like in Option Rally, when I log in, at the top it has my name and my account balance. It brings me right to the trading screen where I have, again, different types of options to choose from. I can choose traditional or digital binary options. I can choose longer term options, 60-second options, one-touch options, ladder options, or pair options. I also have an asset class selector, for example, hot assets, currencies, commodities, indices, and stocks. Now here on Go Options, I have a choice of different views for my order entry. So right now I'm on this view. which has order entry for different assets stacked, one on top of the other. You can see them if I scroll down. If I click here, that changes the view so that I can see more underlying assets. If I click here, it allows me to see even more assets by eliminating more information. And finally, if I click here on the big square, it allows me to see just one asset, but with a big chart and a big order entry screen. So I usually suggest that my students start with one of the more simple views, because you'll want to see the chart and the order entry screen for your asset class. So either the big square or these big rows is probably the best place to start. Once you get used to trading binary options and you get really fast at it, you may find that you want to be able to trade many asset classes at a time, and you may find one of these other views really useful. But for now, let's stick with the big chart view. Let's look again at indices. And you can see we have a similar list of indices here on Go Options. Because it's 10:30 in the morning, everything that's open is Europe, US, Latin America, and that Israeli index. I'm going to look again at S&P 500. And I'm going to look at the expiration times that are available. Now today, the choices of expiration times are 15 o'clock or 20 o'clock. Now on Go Options, the time is all in GMT. On Option Rally, the time was in my local time. So here, 15 o'clock corresponds to 11 o'clock in the morning my time. So that's in about 25 minutes. So actually that's the same expiration that we were just looking at. Now here's the chart of the S&P. And another feature that Go Options has is that I can actually change the time frame of the chart. For example, right now it's showing me the past hour. If I want to see the past 2 hours, the past 4 hours, the past 8 hours. So I'm going to go back to 4 hours. Now over here on the right, I have my potential payout of 76%. So this is pretty close, but not exactly equal to the payout that Option Rally was offering me on this same asset class. Different brokers will offer you different payouts, so that's another good reason why it's important to have more than one broker. All other things being equal, you're better off with a higher payout. So if one broker is offering you a significantly higher payout, you'll have the option to use that broker. Now here on Go Options, I enter the amount first, let's say $100 again, and my potential payout fills in. Here it's $176. Now let's say again that I thought this asset was going higher. I would click on Call, and up comes the trade entry screen. To approve it, I just click Apply. And the position is approved and in my open positions. So let's scroll down and we can see that open position here. Again, it has a trade ID, an underlying asset, a strike, the current level of the asset, the direction, in this case call, the start time when I entered the trade and the expiration time, my investment amount, and my potential payout. Now here, again, I can click on a chart and see the chart of my asset. And I have these options of what to do. I can either sell that asset, double up, meaning double my investment amount, or I can roll it over. And we'll talk in a later video about in what scenarios you might want to do any of these things, either sell, double up, and roll over. Now here, these are my open positions. If I had any expired positions, I could click here to see them. But today I don't have any expired positions yet. Now, if I had any options in any of the other categories, for example, long-term, 60-second, one-touch, ladder, or pairs, those would be in separate tables. So you have your options organized by type and by whether they're open or expired. Now, in our introductory video session, we talked about choosing a broker, and I said one of the most important things is customer service. If you have any questions or you're unsure about something related to your site, you should be able to contact your broker. For example, Go Options has this Chat with Us button. Just click on Chat with Us and type a question. You'll get your answer pretty quickly, and that can mean the difference between placing or not placing that great trade. So you want to make sure before you choose your broker that you pick one that has a great customer service feature. So now that you know how to set up your trades, you're one step closer to implementing your binary options trading strategy. We've gone over a lot of the details in trade entry. So now what I suggest you do is to familiarize yourself with one or two brokers' sites, the different menus and screens that you can use for your trading. You really want to get to the point where you can find everything that you need easily, and it becomes second nature for you to trade binary options in your account. And ideally, you'll be able to do this in more than one account, so that you'll be able to quickly switch from one broker to another, figure out which broker is offering you the ideal situation for your trade. It'll take some practice, but trust me, after a few days to a few weeks, it'll be second nature for you to trade binary options. If you have any questions, you can send them to us at any time. We'll be glad to help you fine-tune your trading. Before we end this video, I'm going to go over some of the questions that I get from a lot of my students so that you can all benefit from the answers. At this stage, many students ask me how to make trading decisions. So how to decide which direction my underlying is going to go and when to enter trades. So far, we've talked through the mechanics of entering orders. But how do I know whether to place a call trade or a put trade? How much do I invest in each trade? And this is where your own strategy is going to come into play. We're going to talk about this a lot later in this course. We're going to focus on how to learn and how to do this. We'll talk about charting and different trading strategies that you can use to make money trading binary options. So that's it for this lesson. If it's your first time through, I suggest you watch it at least once more to make sure you have a handle on everything that we talked about today. If you missed any of our earlier videos, I suggest you go back and watch those videos at least one more time. In our next video, we'll learn how to read candlestick charts to try to predict the direction of an asset's future movement. The next lesson is going to help you tremendously in your trading. For now, I'm Reese Shapiro, your binary options trading coach. I'll see you next time.